What is the true cost of living in Kansas City? Well, that's a complicated question to answer, considering home prices make up around 30% of most families' monthly expenses. And depending on where you choose to live within the metro, the Kansas or Missouri side, the city or the suburbs, the median home price can vary significantly. Well, in this video, I'm going to compare the cost of living across the Kansas City metro and do my best to give you an idea of the overall cost of living in KC. And stick around to the very end where I'll share with you a few tips on how you can save money in Kansas City. That's right, we're going to dissect the cost of living across the Kansas City metro and give you an insider's look at the nitty-gritty details. Let this be your roadmap to understanding how your current cost of living stacks up to life in KC. Before we dive into the real estate game, let's check out some key rankings for everyday essentials like groceries, utilities, and transportation. Now, I'll be referencing bestplaces.net, which gives us a bird's eye view of the cost of living on a scale of 100. Anything above 100, well, you're living large above the national average. Anything below, you're getting a bit more bang for your buck. So let's start with the big picture. The Kansas City metro earns a 93.5 on the cost of living scale, while Missouri scores an 85.6 and Kansas rings in at 83.1. All of these numbers are significantly below the national average, which translates to a more affordable lifestyle compared to many other corners of the US. And this isn't me just spouting numbers, it's what many of our clients relocating to Kansas City are experiencing firsthand. We have folks from Arizona, California, and Las Vegas who are landing in Kansas City, scratching their heads in amazement at how their dollars stretch further in the city of fountains. Now, I'll grant you, they haven't faced our winter weather just yet, but trust me when I say that Kansas City is making waves nationally, attracting both newcomers and tourists alike. Speaking of tourists, I recently attended an event with visitkc.com, and they dropped some very interesting knowledge bombs on me. Turns out Kansas City ranks above average in almost every category of entertainment. From shopping, museums, landmarks, and sightseeing, we're absolutely killing it in the culture game, folks. The only place where we fell a tad short was outdoor activities, which makes sense. If you're chasing mountains or the ocean, you're not hopping on a plane to Kansas City. But here's the kicker. Ever since our new airport opened, Kansas City is on the rise as a destination for business conferences and events. Think about it, we're a mere 3-hour flight from either coast, making us the perfect meetup point for corporations scattered across the country. And many of these folks, once they experience the vibrant city and its affordability, they decide to make KC their new home. By the way, my name is Kyle and I am a licensed real estate agent in Kansas and Missouri. And if you're considering moving to KC, then be sure to click the link in the video description below to download our free relocation guide. Or you can always email us anytime at info@movingtokc.net. and we would love to assist you. Also, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe to our channel as we're putting out new videos about eating, sleeping, living, and playing right here in Kansas City every single week. Now let's talk about groceries. KC ranks below the national average here as well, scoring a 97.4 on the cost of living scale. We all have our go-to grocery stores. In Florida, it's Publix, and back in my Denver days, Safeway and King Soopers were the go-tos. Personally, I'm a Trader Joe's fan, and guess what? We have 2 of them in the entire metro. So if you're a TJ's enthusiast like me, South KC is going to be the place you'll want to begin your search. But don't worry, we have plenty of other options too. Hy-Vee and Price Chopper are here pretty much on par with other grocery store chains nationwide. We also have Sam's Club and Costco for all your bulk shopping. And for the budget conscious, we have Aldi stores scattered all across the metro. If you're not familiar with Aldi, they're owned by the same folks as Trader Joe's and are known for their affordability, which was huge for my family of 4 moving back here from Denver, which happens to be in Aldi Desert. Okay, so what about some real life numbers? My typical grocery bill at Trader Joe's is around $150 and Aldi is right around $100. Our family of 4 spends around $750 a month on groceries, give or take, and that's considerably lower than what we're used to spending in Denver. Now, let's dive into utilities. According to bestplaces.net, the city ranks 101 out of 100 for utilities, coming in slightly above the national average. And according to wallethub.com, Missouri ranks 38th in utility costs at $434 a month, while Kansas ranks 47th at $384 a month. Now, personally, my monthly utilities are slightly higher than both of these, coming in at around $465 a month for electric, gas, and water. But that's for a 2,200 square foot, 107-year-old house with not one, but 2 HVAC systems. Water is another reason for Kansas City's above average utilities, with residents paying on average $120 per month for water, while nationally it's just $46 per month. And I've discussed the Kansas City proper's water situation in other videos. Basically, the city was mandated by the EPA to replace the entire sewer system, totaling $5 billion. And as a Kansas City resident, I have to pay for some of that by way of a higher water bill. The other item that I would consider as a utility is internet service. I've only used Google Fiber since moving back from Denver, which is a flat $70 a month, but there are other providers like Spectrum and Xfinity where I've had clients get internet service for around $35 to $40 per month. All in all, Kansas City is pretty much on par with the rest of the country when it comes to utilities. Moving on to transportation, Kansas City has some favorable and not so favorable aspects, starting with public transportation options, which were pretty limited compared to other larger cities. We have the streetcar, which is currently being extended, but really only benefits those who live in the urban core on a day-to-day basis. Then we have the Ride KC bus system, and they recently opened a new route that will serve Johnson County from Lenexa City Center to Prairie Village. Both the streetcar and the bus system are completely free through 2023. Gas prices also tend to be below the national average, which is a good thing because of how car-centric Kansas City tends to be. At the time of recording this video, we're looking at around $3.45 per gallon, while the national average hovers right around $3.80 per gallon. Another thing that you'll want to budget for, especially if you live on the Missouri side, is vehicle maintenance. Potholes, anyone? A recent study by Construction Rankings has Kansas with the 6th best roads in the country, while Missouri ranks 24th. Now, Kansas City is on track to resurface more miles of roadway this year than they have in the previous 3 years combined, but they still have a ways to go. Point is, be prepared for potential repair costs, especially if you decide to live within the city limits. Lastly, but certainly not least, let's talk about the big one, housing. The choice of where you hang your hat in Kansas City can dramatically impact your cost of living. As I mentioned earlier, housing typically accounts for about 30% of most families' monthly budgets. However, here's where it gets interesting. The median house price can vary quite a bit between the 2 main counties that draw in many of the clients that we see relocating to Kansas City. And those 2 counties are Johnson County on the Kansas side and Jackson County on the Missouri side. Now, Jackson County is where we'll start. It's the 3rd most densely populated county in the state of Missouri, and where you'll find downtown Kansas City, the Crossroads, and the Country Club Plaza, as well as some suburbs like Lee Summit and Blue Springs. The year-to-date median house price hovers around $250,000. That's right, there were just under 5,000 homes sold in Jackson County over the past year for under $250,000. Now, I couldn't believe it when I moved back from Denver in 2020, where currently the median house price is right around $590,000. And this is what makes KC a top target for people who are relocating, especially when you consider the national median home price is $421,000. However, the median home price can be misleading when you compare it to the neighboring county across state line. Johnson County, which consists of top-rated suburbs like Lenexa, Prairie Village, Leawood, Overland Park, carries a much heftier median house price of $437,000. The county is renowned for hosting 4 of the top 6 school districts in the entire state, according to niche.com. So this is, of course, a top pick for many families that we help relocate to KC. One of the leading contributors for the price gap between the two counties is the amount of new construction homes that are being built in Johnson County. For example, in the month of June alone, there were 150% more permits pulled in Johnson County over Jackson. And when you consider that the median house price for new construction homes in Kansas City is around $550,000, it's naturally going to skew the numbers a bit. And here's the thing, real estate in Kansas City gets even more hyper-local than that. Prices can vary wildly from one neighborhood to another. So when you're ready to make your move, it's smart to team up with a local real estate expert who can help navigate the unique quirks of Kansas City's housing market based on your budget and preferences. Before we go, here are a few quick tips on how you can save money in Kansas City. Number 1, take advantage of the perks if you move to Clay or Jackson County. The zoo, for example, just opened up a brand new $77 million aquarium, and Jackson County and Clay County residents get 50% off memberships and up to 4 free visits per year. Number 2, try and find a residence close to where you work. Again, the KC Metro is spread out and you're going to spend enough time in your car already. Now, a lot of people we help relocate work from home. So in that case, I would recommend finding what's most important to you in regards to shopping. Again, for me, it's Trader Joe's. I live 8 minutes away from mine, and there are only 2 in the entire Metro, one in South KC and another in Leawood. So whether it's TJ's, Costco, Chick-fil-A, you name it, and map it out when you're doing your research. And number 3, take advantage of the free and cheap things that Kansas City has to offer. First Fridays in the Crossroads, the Nelson Atkins Museum, day trip to Parkville, disc golf or a bike ride in Shawnee Mission Park. There are so many great things to do in Kansas City that require little to no expense. Now, the cost of living in Kansas City is generally favorable, especially when compared to many other parts of the country, with below average grocery prices, relatively low gas costs, and an array of entertainment options. Kansas City has a lot to offer residents and newcomers alike. When it comes to housing, your choice of county or neighborhood will significantly impact your budget. Whether you opt for the vibrant urban core or the family-friendly suburbs, there's a place in Kansas City for everyone. If you're considering a move to Kansas City, then don't forget to download our free relocation guide and never hesitate to reach out to our team via email at info@movingtokc.net. Thanks for watching, and if you found this video helpful, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to our channel. Until next time.